We're actually in the eastern suburbs at the moment. This area here is known as Pakuranga. Just heading east in Auckland, New Zealand. Temperature at the moment is just under 30 degrees, which is quite hot for us. Mid-January, not too bad. Quite pleasant. Fairly typical traffic flow. We do have heavy traffic in Auckland, but generally speaking, it's you can cope with it. We haven't got to the actual peak at the moment, but this particular route through here is not too bad at the moment. When it's fairly heavy, you might miss maybe 2 or 3 cycles of the lights while you're waiting to get through, but I think we're going to get through these ones this time, so that wasn't too bad a wait. There we go. I'm just heading back from the north shore of Auckland, a place called Devonport, where I'm working at the moment. It's about a 30k ride, it's not too bad. Little Yaris copes with it very easily, and it's very economical on petrol. Looks like the price at the moment's about $2.50 a litre. Going to sneak through those lights, okay? That's good. Out of all the countries that I've been to and lived in, I still like New Zealand. It's not too heavily populated. We have access to most things that the rest of the world has access to. Price of living, or the cost of living, is reasonable. Wages, salary structure is reasonable. Taxes are reasonable considering what some countries are paying. And the weather is temperate. You know, we don't get too cold in the winter, we don't get too hot in the summer. And that Santa Fe is the same colour as mine. When I first moved to this part of Auckland, it was just farmland, so it's developed quite a bit over the last 20 years or so. You wouldn't recognise it really. Population has got a lot larger as well over that time. City's not all that large. We're now moving into another area. This one is called Botany, so it's sort of, this area's got a lot of Australian names. So this area here is known as Botany, and it's part of the eastern suburbs also. It's one of the newer suburbs. I've said in some of my earlier videos, a lot of the department stores and businesses that we have here in New Zealand are common with what is available in Australia. On the left there is an ice skating rink. Taking the kids there a few times, it's quite neat. The vehicle fleet in New Zealand varies. We have a lot of Japanese imports which give us vehicles probably around about 10 to 15 years old. So you've got a lot of vehicles that are in that range, and then you've also got a lot of vehicles that are actually brand new. So the new market for vehicles is pretty large, especially over lockdown. A lot of people have been spending money on new cars, new vehicles, because they can't spend their money on travel. They can't go overseas, so they're spending their money on new vehicles. But a lot of vehicles are in that sort of 10 to 15 year bracket, and then you get a bit of a gap into sort of the classics. There's a lot of classics out here as well. We've got a lot of the American vehicles, a lot of the old Mustangs and Camaros, and all of those American muscle cars are out here in really big numbers. Lots of clubs, of course, for them as well. A lot of the English vehicles, Jaguar, all of those are out here as well. But I guess the majority of vehicles in New Zealand are Japanese. That's probably the largest lot of the fleet would be Japanese. Still a pretty good number of Mercedes, BMWs and Audis. A lot of those though come in second hand from Japan. So heading sort of southeast now. The next big suburb from where I am now is a place called Manukau City, and that's one of the largest parts of Auckland, this part of the city anyway, south of the harbour. Manukau City is a pretty large chunk of this part of the city area. Anyway, that's a little bit of a view of our neighbourhood out here, just driving around these eastern suburbs. I was going to run a small video clip of coming across the harbour bridge, but I couldn't get the phone set up, and you can't stop once you've got moving on that motorway. So I hope you enjoyed looking around at some of these parts of the scenery of eastern suburbs, and I'll catch you a little bit later on in another video. Bye for now.